Hey guys, welcome back to our channel where we are passionate about helping people with business and accounting. In today's video, I'm revisiting our PPP bookkeeping video. I did that video last year when PPP was just rolling out, and since then I've made a few changes to my process. I also take the video a step further this time around where we talk about reconciling the accounts and how to close the PPP1 accounts and how to set up your PPP Draw 2 accounts. So if you're thinking about getting the second draw, make sure you set it up correctly, and we are going to cover that in this video. So if you're interested, keep on watching. All right guys, so I'm not gonna lie, this video is a little long. So before we get started, why don't you head over and grab some coffee, get a snack, and turn your computer on so we can do this together. All right guys, well today we're gonna try something different. So I'm actually gonna do a voiceover on this video. I wanna see if it speeds up our workflow and we're able to get stuff out to you guys a little bit faster. Now I wanna say that this video kind of picks up where we left off on the last video. So the last video was intended for people that receive PPP funds into a separate account. This video, we are receiving the PPP funds into our main operating account. So that's one of the main differences in how to record this. And if you did it the other way in the other video and you want to fix it if you received your funds in your main operating account, I'm going to show you guys how to do that here. Now we're starting our video off in the chart of accounts, and in order to get to the chart of accounts, on the left-hand side, you select Accounting, Chart of Accounts. So the PPP1 bank account has already been recorded on here. And like I said, it's kind of picking up from the last video. And so what we're going to do is we are going to create a sub-account. We're going to make this a sub-account. So it's going to work with the operating account, with the checking account. And I'll show you guys how to do that. So if you notice, the Quickbooks beginning balance is $1,201 and the PPP balance is $60,000. But for people that received their PPP loan in their operating account, their checking account would say $61,201. So how to fix that is you go to Edit and you select the sub account and you select Checking. And then you save. So now if you see, our checking account balance is $61,201. So for a lot of you, I received a lot of comments on the last video asking, how to fix that. That's how you would fix it. So now we're going to create our first transaction in our PPP register. So if we go to Payee, now I did have some issues with the sample company and keeping my vendor and employee information. So I think that feature was down. And so you'll notice that I'm going to go in and create, an employee, but it's not going to save. When you're accounting for payroll, a payroll expense is, you can name it whatever, but we're going to go with wages expense. So I need to create this account in QBO because this is a sample company and that information isn't in there at the moment. So I'm just creating an account in QBO. So if you notice, the account type is expense. The detail type is going to be payroll wages expense, and then the name is going to be wages expense. Save and close. And now we're just going to put in an amount. So I'm just going to say that payroll for this period was $15,000. And we're going to save and close. So now we can see that our checking account balance was reduced, but our PPP1 bank balance did not change. And the reason why is because when we created the entry, we did not select that account. So if we go down to the checking register, you'll see that the transaction is recorded. So the way to fix this is you select Edit, and under Payment Account, you want to select PPP1 Bank. So you'll see that it still says Checking, but it's PPP1 Bank sub-account. And so when you save and close that, it did not affect the checking account register. And when you head over to the PPP register, it's now recorded. So no effect on the checking register because that money truly is coming out of that account, but now it's also being recorded on the PPP register, and you can see that it's reduced our balance to $45,000. So now we're going to go to New, and we're going to create another expense. So we're not going to add in a payee because I'm trying to add it here and it's not working. So the payment type stays as PPP account, and we're going to fix this in just a minute. The payment date is 7/15, wages expense, and 15,000. Now in this example, what we're showing in just a few minutes is if you're paying someone via direct deposit and you can't really change the payment account type, then the way that we would record this transaction is you would still create your entry. And I'm just going to change this back to checking so we can see that example. There we go. And so now you'll see it's removed from the PPP register. And so if we go into the checking register, this would be an example of, okay, so the money has been deposited via direct deposit into the checking register, but we want to account for it in PPP. The way we would do that is we would go to New, and then we would go to Journal Entry. And always remember to change your journal number to some sort of description. So for us, we have 1 PPP wages. So this is the first journal entry on the books, and we're calling it PPP wages. And then the account is going to be the checking account. And we're going to debit 15,000. And the other account is going to be the PPP account, and that's going to be a credit for 15,000. So if you look on this journal entry, nowhere does it say wages expense. And that's because wages have been accounted for on the books. All we're doing is moving the balance. So we're going to select save. And now if we go to our PPP register, we'll see that PPP wages is accounted for on July 16th. And if we go to the checking account, we'll see that the journal entry zeroes itself out. And the reason why it zeroes itself out is because it's not going to create an effect on the books. Now, I will say that if you are reconciling your bank account, which everyone should be, if you leave this as is, it's going to throw off your balances on your bank statement. So most bank statements have the debits and the credits, and they have a total amount. If we leave this as is, those amounts will be off. So in order to fix that, you can go in and manually reconcile this account so it doesn't show up when you're reconciling. So all you simply have to do is in this field here, double click or triple click until it has an R. So now let's say it's the end of the month and it's time to reconcile your bank account. And your ending balance on your statement is $30,000, at least it is for our scenario. And we're reconciling through the end of July. Start reconciliation. And here's all our transactions that have cleared the bank statement. And oh, we're off by $5,000. The reason why we're off by $5,000 is because there was already something reconciled. So if I go in and clear that, so QBO likes these opening balance transactions and they love reconciling it automatically. So if you just go in and we just remove the R and save, now I can go back in and my balance will be taken care of. So in this scenario, the credits to the account was $60,000 and the payments or expenses to the account were $30,000. And so those numbers should match your bank statement. So the beginning balance should be the beginning balance carrying over from from the previous month, and then those amounts should match. If we would not have reconciled outside of this portal, then our balances would have been off. So now everything is reconciled through July. So now I'm just going to go in and create another expense. We're going to change the date. We're going to select the account type to be payroll. We're just going to save. So I'm working in the PPP1 bank register, and I'm only doing this to kind of speed up this process to show you guys what's next. So editing stuff is just going to speed this up. Perfect. So now we're back in the checking register, and we've added these transactions. You can see they're not reconciled. So we've also used up all 60,000 of PPP funds. So once the account is zero, so once you used up all of your PPP funds, then you want to reconcile your account. So now we're going in, it's the end of the month, and we're going to reconcile our August transactions. So we go in, our ending balance is zero. So this is the checking account balance. It's not PPP balance. So we have no money in the checking account. We reconciled, everything is zero, and we're done. So bank account reconciliations are done. Now, once you've used up all of your PPP funds, then you want to go in and reconcile this account. So the ending balance is going to be zero because you can't use more funds. You can't account for more PPP funds than you were actually given. And we finished everything in August, and that's just a zero reconciliation. So if we go back to our chart of accounts, now we have no money in PPP, and we have a small balance left in our checking account. But we want to go ahead and create a custom report and kind of keep this report on hand if we ever need the information. Now I showed you how to do this in the previous video. So for sake of this tutorial, I'm just kind of speed this up a little bit. So you want to go to transaction by account, and we're just going to customize this to fit our PPP report. So they're going to be debits and credits. And we're just going to move the balance. And again, I go through this in much detail in the other video. And we're going to filter by the PPP bank account. And then run the report. So now it's a very simple report. Now, there's not a lot of detail in the memo or description. That was because we'd never put it there when we entered these transactions. So to fix that, click on the credit, and in the memo field below, you can just type in the pay period or what the money was used for. So for us, we used it for payroll. So it's just July 1st payroll. Now it shows up on your report. So you just want to do this for all of the other transactions as well. Same steps. So I went ahead and added the field in memo, but quickly realized that it won't show up on the report. You have to put it in the description. So I just go back in, change it in the description, or I just copied it into the description, I should say. And save. Yes. So once you reconcile, every time you make a change to the transaction, it's going to pull up an alert saying, hey, you've already reconciled. This could throw you out of balance. As long as you're not changing any balances, you should be okay. So August 1st, save. And so I just did the same steps for all of the transactions. And there you have it. All of the descriptions are filled out for the report. We have a zero balance report. You just want to go in and make the report nice. So you can just change this to PPP Draw 1 spending and save customization. And the reason why I'm saving this is because I'm going to reuse this report come time for PPP Draw 2. We just have to make a minor adjustment. So we're just going to go back to our chart of accounts. And we can see that PPP Bank is 0. So if you made it this far in the video, I'm assuming you're getting value. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. And now let's get back to the video. So now we're going to go into the PPP loan liability. And so you're going to view this register. So it's time to record forgiveness. Now I do have a video specifically on forgiveness. It hasn't changed much. I'm still doing the same entry. Just know that this is going to depend on your CPA or whoever's doing your taxes, how they want to show it. Some CPAs want to put this on the balance sheet. Other CPAs want this on the income statement. It's just going to depend on who you're working with and how they want to see this. So the net effect once they put this on the taxes is going to be the same. So it's just going to depend on who you're working with. So let's say in January you received forgiveness. That means the bank has issued you a letter and you have been forgiven for your PPP loan. So normally I would put the lender in this field here. But since it's not working, make sure you put it on there. And then you're going to decrease the loan by $60,000 and your account is going to be a new account. And what I'm calling this is PPP Draw 1 Forgiveness. And this is not in the books. And I'm adding in parentheses non-taxable. And the reason why is because this income is not taxable income. And so I want whoever is doing the taxes for this client to not put this under other income. And in the description, I'm gonna, just state that this is COVID-19 relief. And then I'm going to say see CARES Act and Consolidated Appropriations Act. And then of course we're going to save that. And now you can see our PPP loan liability is 0. So this account has been closed. So once the loan has been forgiven, then we're going to go ahead and reconcile the ending balance because there is no balance. It's a 0 account reconciliation. So we're just going to give it the end of the month date and we're just going to reconcile it. So now by doing that, by zeroing out your liability, it's not going to show up as debt on your balance sheet. So let's go to the profit and loss statement and see how that is recorded. So you can see it's under other income and it does skew your P&L for the year. So just keep that in mind when you are, reviewing your financials, especially when it's happening, at the beginning of the year. This is going to be showing up for the rest of the year. So now if we head back to the chart of accounts, we're going to go ahead and create the new PPP Draw 2 account. So it's a bank account, it's a checking account, and then it's going to be a sub as your checking. So the same exact setup as the first one. So if I remove PPP filter, then you can see they're both sub accounts to the checking account. But I'm going to go ahead and close the PPP1 account. It's been reconciled. If you're wondering if I close this or make it inactive, will it still show up? And the answer is yes. So if you hit the gear icon and you select inactive, all of the information is still in there. It's not going to delete anything. Even though it says deleted, the transactions themselves are still in there. So if you run the report and you select all, you'll see that all of my information is in there. It just says deleted. You'll see that it's reconciled and you have 0 balance. And you can always make this active if you want. So now we're going to go to new and we're going to go ahead and create a deposit for Draw 2. All right. So let's go ahead and create a deposit. We're going to change that date to April 1st, 2021. So now let's go ahead and create the new liability account. So instead of typing it, I'm just going to edit what's already in there, change that to 2, and then just put loan at the end. So PPP Draw 2 loan. We have to create this account. It's going to be a liability account. And again, I said this in the first video, you can use long-term liabilities if you want. It's just going to show up in a different place on your balance sheet. So just make sure you change the account to PPP Bank 2. We're going to go ahead and select PPP Draw 2. And we are going to enter the amount of $60,000. So let's go ahead and add a description. So that's just loan disbursement. Save and close. And exit that. So now we'll see that we have PPP Bank 2 and it has a balance of $60,000. Now this is a new amount of $60,000 that was just received in 2021. And now we have our 2 loan accounts. And if we remove the inactive, we can just see the active accounts. So now it's time to add expenses, and you do the exact same thing that we did at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process and add in my memos. So that is it, my friends. This is how we would record PPP spending. And remember, you can edit your original report, just change the bank account. So if you go to customize, filter, you're changing the distribution account from the PPP bank to 2, run the report, and there you have it. You want to save this as your second draw. And I didn't do this in this video, but just make sure to change your title at the top. So it would be PPP Draw 2. And that is it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to our channel. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.